Happy Sunday, everyone. Today is day 21 of 100 days of a podcast for the Lean Athlete Lifestyle Show. Hopefully you're enjoying this series so far, and we're going to continue past day 100. I promise you that. It's going to be so much fun. So we made a game day dip. So it was actually high protein, very, very healthy. And then also made some pita bread, made some hummus. Like we just went all out today with making food for game day. And unfortunately, the Bears are down. Duh, Bears. But, there's still time. Past halftime, but we'll see. So what I want to talk about today is my journey when I did my first photo shoot, what exactly I did for that, and how I went from 201 pounds to 178 pounds of the photo shoot day. Now, just so you know, I was going relatively strictly with this whole challenge and this whole transformation, but I only stayed at that weight for one day, thank goodness, because I felt frail at 178 pounds. That was after peak week. We'll go through that as well. So where do I start with this whole thing? Because it was a whole process. Well, I reached out to one coach who did actually like a photo shoot video and described it in great detail. Meringue. Yes, it's pronounced like meringue pie, but it's spelled very different. So he's from the Netherlands. And so I'm like, hey, maybe I can just get a coach for this. And it was a really good price. And then he just sent me workouts. We did every 2 weeks, we did a check-in via email. And then I had an app to follow, and he actually gave me a meal plan and set how many calories I should have. Okay, so I'm just going to run you through the whole journey of this whole thing. Might take, a few minutes, maybe 15 minutes for today's podcast, but bear with me and please stay awake for it because it's actually it's a pretty cool journey for me. So first things first, I reached out and got my program and looked through it, and it was a 6-day split. And that means essentially I did a push, pull, and legs, and then I repeated that on Thursday to Saturday. So it was Monday to Saturday, different workouts per push, pull, legs, per day that I did it. And then Sunday I took off. We only did about 2 days of cardio, which were about 25 minutes. And luckily enough, I was the head coach at Orange Theory Fitness East St. Paul. Shout out to them. Back in the day, this is in 2020, so almost 3 years ago now, which is super awesome. And throughout that whole journey, it was eye-opening. It was literally monk mode, and I highly recommend people do this as well. It was not only a transformation for me physically, but I know it sounds cliche, but mentally, it was transformative. It changed everything out of my life, almost every single aspect. And I want to go through that in great detail and share with you, okay? So yeah, I got my program 6 days a week, and then so he gave me a meal plan. I tried it for maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and then I got kind of sick of it. It had pasta in there. It actually had Nutella, which is cool. But what I did is I actually went to Eat This Much software, and I designed and developed my own meal plans. And I said, hey, you know what, pasta may not be my favorite thing. Maybe we can switch that up. And he said, yeah, you can just stick within your calories, and that's all you can do. You can put whatever you want in there. So I'm like, okay, cool. And so I did. So I stayed within the calorie range from Monday through Saturday, so pretty much on the days that I was working out. And the cool thing about working out 6 days a week is that you get to really get the inflammation going. You get to have like the swellness, and you just feel more full. Your muscles are always kind of jacked, so to speak, on those days. So there's a lot of like really good looks going on throughout these 90 days. I'll talk more about the mental capacity part afterwards, like the mindset I had that really changed the game for me here. So on other notes of this, so I changed things up with the meal plan. Again, like Sundays, I did not track a thing. I didn't even know how to track food. I didn't even know how to weigh food. I had no clue. And then I think I saw a video of what he was doing. I'm like, that's cool. And then I started to weigh my food. And that wasn't until like maybe 6 weeks after. And it was at the 6 week mark where I actually noticed a physical difference. I actually was like, okay, I have now virtually almost a 6-pack. It's more of like a 4.5 pack maybe, but it was starting to show. And that's usually on your transformative journey. You start to see changes around the 6 week mark. Sometimes it can take longer, depending on how frequently you've worked out before and so on and so forth. And so for the first 2 weeks, I didn't notice a change. It was like 201 pounds, 200 pounds. It did not change. And so on the check-in, I said, hey, I'm not, changing weight. What are we doing wrong? And so he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to adjust your calories. And pretty much he just, I think, reduced the carbs, the fats, and the protein stayed the same along the calories just dropped 100 only. And we're almost within a few days. Oh, it's nice and windy out there. Fall time, the leaves are falling. Sorry, squirrel. But in that sense, the next week or so, I started to actually drop almost a few pounds for that week. It's like 1.5 pounds. And then that was just what we stuck with for the next, I think it was like 8, maybe 10, no, it must have been 9 weeks or so. And it just continued to drop all the way down to like 180 something. Yeah. So that was really cool. I think we really got down to like 185 or something. And like muscle was preserved pretty well because I did one of those scans. And I think I gained a pound of muscle or something like that. But it also helped with all the frequency and high protein I was eating. And what was the other point I want to make about the protein needs? Okay, I might as well share how much protein and carbs and calories we were doing. So calories, we started at 2,600, and after the 2 weeks, we went down to 2,500. We just stayed there for the longest. That was the majority of the time. And then I think it was around 210 grams of protein, around 200, 215 grams of protein. I'm doing a lot more now. I have a lot more muscle now than I did then. Fat was, I think, around 70, 75 grams of fat. And then carbs, I can't remember what the carbs were at. Actually, I could probably look it up. Oh, no, I changed it to the last 2 weeks of the cycle. So I think the carbs was maybe around 250 to 200, same as like protein. So I just adjusted those numbers and made things work and tested out different ideas, got a grocery list, and prepared everything there. And the rest was history. I dropped a lot of weight. I actually had a 6-pack. I had really good muscle definition going on. You can see like my obliques and everything. I was definitely, not needing a shirt as often throughout that period. And luckily it was a nice fall and a nice summer during that time as well. The biggest part of this journey, and this is what changed almost every aspect of me. Before this, I never thought that I was an attractive person. I never thought that I was worthy. I never thought that people viewed me as a person of value. That's seriously what I thought. I thought I was just running through the motions, and I thought I was just a burden, and it was almost a spiral, but I was just hanging on there. This changed that. This whole Lean Athlete Blueprints changed that. And when I discovered that throughout this journey, it was quite significant. Okay, I'll tell you that. So when I did this journey, I was not to go on any dates. I was not to get distracted by that. And I think I was just focused on something that was really exciting to me. And I wrote a list of things that I will not do anymore as far as habits go. And I just wrote them down on a physical calendar, just ticked off each day that I completed what I wanted to complete, and just added more to that whole 90-day cycle. I would also go to bed without looking at my phone, so I'd get really, really good sleep. I think it was like 8-9 hours of sleep almost every night. And again, there was no distraction. So I almost went into what's called monk mode. I started to create things. I started to get ideas. I started to actually speak with huge clarity, and things just made sense. It was quite beautiful. I will definitely say that. I felt something very, very different throughout that whole journey. My speeches in Orange Theory classes were definitely a lot more, out there, prevalent and moving and meaningful. So going to bed, I would go to bed maybe like half an hour before. I would put some candles on, read a book, write in my journal. If you want more mindset with journaling, let me know. I can definitely help you with that. That is a really good practice that I do every night now. The phone was outside the room. I would set the alarm and it would just, ring outside the room, and I wouldn't be tempted to go check on it if I woke up or right before bed. And the candles, they serve as natural light, so it doesn't actually activate your your sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, making you stay awake internally even though you're sleeping for an extra 3 hours. So the candles beside me were a saving grace that I could still have some light and read, and also journal. So great journey, super proud of what I accomplished with that. And learned a lot of things along the way. Discovered a lot of things. Made a really good income that I wanted to make, and was able to pay off a lot of debt during this time. And I got income streams coming from all over the place, and it was quite awesome. I actually created a whole course that I have in the Fit After 30 Facebook group throughout this journey. And this was right as I was getting my spray tan going into the photo shoot. So near the end of the videos, you'll see me as an Oompa Loompa. But well worth it. I think that everything turned out great. Got everything shaved down for the photo shoot. And then about 2 weeks comes, and then I think we dropped the calories to maybe like 2,200-ish, 2,150. And the protein still kind of stayed high, maybe dropped a little bit. And a week before we did peak week. Now I can make a whole video about peak week because this is a topic and a half to talk about. But what we did is we just flushed out almost all the water in me. And this is what most athletes do for bodybuilding shows or photo shoots. They'll just dry themselves out. So it's just like skin on muscle, and that's it. There's almost no water in between, which makes you look kind of puffy and doesn't show off all the details of what you've worked for. So peak week is good. You do have to be very lean for peak week. Like for women, you might want to be around 15% body fat. For men, under 10% for sure. I mean, that's when it really works. And then all of a sudden it's just like, holy crap. I can see every single six pack of mine. I can see every single, edging of my stomach. It was crazy. And then, I felt frail. And then I started to dehydrate myself with water. And then I started to deplete myself of carbs, and then carbed up the night before, and then carbed on the day of. And actually had a shot of vodka because it can help dry you out as well. Alcohol can dry things out. Imagine that. And then, the photo shoot came in. It was done by Nia, and he did a fantastic job with the photo shoot. I was there with Hazel, Rob, Brienne. We all had a really, really good time. Mom came down and watched as well and got the donuts. And then I was lathered up in baby oil. But honestly, can't forget it. Literally, this was the coolest experience I've had. And I got to thank, Richard and Arlene for letting me use their gym space here as well, to have this thing actually go down. And I was so happy to eat afterwards. It felt, I ate way too much crap, and my body felt it. I felt like my skin was going to explode. It was just too much carbs or something afterwards. But we had donuts back in Winnipeg, which is where this was held, and it was so good. Oh my God, those donuts were amazing. Even still, you're depriving yourself. Like, even if you aren't depriving yourself, those are freaking good donuts. But even while the photo shoot was ending, I remember I ordered a bunch of East Indian food for all of us. And, as I was eating it and as I was kind of expressing, what this journey was, I don't know really what I said, to be honest, but I remember it was a small group. It was the group I just mentioned. They all got up. It was like a standing ovation and gave me a round of applause. It was like, holy crap. But that's really the power of what you can do when you do tack on daily things and you stay consistent with it. It pays off, even if you don't know if it can. And I really felt like I could do really, really freaking hard things. And that felt great. Felt phenomenal. I was, going through some tough things during that time. Nothing like personal, but it was a tough journey. It was like I had to coach all these classes. I think I had just gotten recognized to do Orange Theory templates for Lift 45, and I was putting on this course. I started this Facebook group, and just things were buzzing, and there was just so many things coming out of nowhere, and it really felt great. But I was definitely overwhelmed, but I just held my head high and didn't slow down, and it just worked. So that is the Lean Athlete Blueprint and how it worked for me. And if you want to zoom out of the whole structure, Monday through Saturday, you stick with a plan. 100%, almost 100% compliance with that, sticking with it, adherence. And then Sunday, it's almost like a full free day, right? Almost no activity. Maybe you get some burgers. Maybe you get something you've been craving all week, and you don't worry about it. Because what that can do is it can inflame in a good way, puff out your muscles more, for lack of a better term, just from the carbs getting in there and some of the extra fats and stuff. And you really can determine if your body is accepting of those nutrients. Like maybe you're depleting yourself of glycogen, which is like the energy stored from carbs in your muscle and liver, and it will kind of replace that after a while. So that's why it's almost like little around 80% of the work is going to come down to you sticking with it, and then maybe 10 to 20% of it is going to come for your freedom. So you're not actually stuck in it. And I do remember my coach saying, okay, I went to a birthday party, had a few extra, wobbly pops, which you call them, extra drinks. and some cupcakes and stuff. It was my best friend's kid's birthday, so definitely check that out and didn't want to miss it and indulged. Told him that, and he said, yeah, you can make up for this. So that's a big part of Lean Athlete Blueprint program, is looking at it through the whole week of calories, not the daily amounts every day. So if you go over, you can make up for it. And I love that so much. And I want to share that with all of you. So if you are interested in starting a journey similar to this, maybe you don't have to work out 6 days a week, or follow a guideline of meals for 6 days a week. We're going to find something that's personalized for you. If you just find that you're just lost, you don't know where to start, and you just want this pain to go away, the pain of I feel ugly, the pain of I don't feel confident, the pain of I don't know which direction to take, everything's foggy, you're spinning your wheels, going in circles. This will solve that. I will work my ass off to make sure that we get you some positive results internally and externally. That is my Lean Athlete Blueprint promise. But that's all I got for today. I really wanted to share that story with you. It's a really impactful story for me. It changed my life, and I would like you to change yours as well. Jump into the Fit After 30 Facebook group, which is where this whole creation came down when I did this first photo shoot in the Facebook area. You can follow me on Instagram at Fitnatics. You can follow me on TikTok at Fitnatics. Subscribe here to the channel on YouTube. And yeah, hopefully enjoy this podcast. Download this if you'd like to listen to it again, or even just drop a rating if you can. That'd be great. But we'll talk to you all tomorrow, day 22 coming up. I love it. Talk later.